Lewis Automotive does a lot of community outreach events. I see a lot of things on social media. I also pass by, see the trucks that are out here. Y'all have done a great job of that with supporting the community and showcasing that support, especially I know with your leadership on the chamber. Immediately, I thought, car and truck show. This is something I put together. I had no idea what a car and truck show was, but somebody said, hey, you should do this outside the stadium. And we started it.
Hey everyone, welcome to Crossroads Conversations with the Lewis Brothers, where we aim to share real stories about running a successful family business, working through adversity, and pouring back into the community that keeps our doors open. We're your hosts, Taylor, Matt, and Shelby, and we'll bring you relevant local business advice and automotive insights that are sure to change the way you look at running a business, and may even throw in a plug for you to do business with us.
Welcome to Crossroads Conversations with the Lewis Brothers here. We're back in the studio. We've had a few weeks that we were live on the showroom floor during Ultimate Challenge, which was a big deal. We got a recap coming up on that. We also have our good friend Elvis here in the studio today. We've got a lot of fun things to talk about with the university on coming up that kind of integrate with our business too. Yep. So we look forward to getting into some great conversation there. But Shelby, before we get there, we have got to talk. I'm going to spoil it. A record-breaking Ultimate Challenge.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Previous record in the month of March, we had sold 617 cars.
Okay.
This year set a goal of 600. I know that seems backwards, but it was a growth goal from 550 to 600. We ended up selling 678.
I want to give them a little context there too, though, because like when you think about that, and Shelby, you say, well, we just set our goal at 600. Even though we'd sold 617, well, one of the things that you do in business is you look at your track record. You know, what are you trending on the past 90 days? But you also have to look about what's the industry doing.
Yeah.
And then what's the supply in our business look like? Well, we're dealing with fires at multiple different factories and shortage of inventory.
And also industry off some percentage points.
So when we looked at all that, we're like, last year's goal was 555. Yeah, they got on heater and went to 617. We want to raise that goal, but we also have to look at reality.
And the most important part of a goal is you want to make it achievable. Like it has to be far enough out there that it scares you, that it's tricky and hard to get to. But you don't want to set your team up for failure. Like we just said, like, let's do 650 or 700 right off the rip. Like that is one car with one customer at a time, realizing that you have to talk to 3 to 4 to 5 times that amount of customers, and realize that you have to have at least 1.5 to 2 times the amount of those cars in stock to sell. So that is an astronomical amount. And those are all retail customers, no fleet, no dealer trade, no wholesale, 678 cars. Elvis said, like, if you and I went and looked and cracked 678 doors and said, let's go test drive that many, we'd be whipped and worn out.
That's I'm done. I couldn't remember the first one we looked at.
That's good. Hey, data-wise, we can look at the way that we look at things with our season tickets and the sales that we have when we set goals within our own department of season tickets and where we want to be related to attendance.
So you look at that as well. Like you always want it to grow, but it's like, hey, what does that look like? What's the flow look like?
Yeah.
What's the noise on the street?
Yeah.
You can't just mysteriously throw numbers out there.
Yeah, you're definitely wanting to take a look at the previous numbers and see how far back you can go. And we do that with student attendance. We do that with our overall season ticket holders. But yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. It was a great goal, and you were able to surpass that, meet it, and that's really exciting for your team.
Yeah. Thank you. For all of our automotive friends listening out there, or business friends that have been listening long enough that are starting to learn about our business, I do want to say we don't have all the stats completely finalized because it takes a while for verifying it all. But our turn, which means, Elvis, that means how fast we turn a vehicle once it comes into stock. Like how many days has it been on the lot, or in other businesses would be on the shelf for us. We looked at our turn on pre-owned inventory, so all of our used vehicles had an average of 28 days. Now, it took on average 10 days to go through the shop, get cleaned up, get ready to go. Mm-hmm. So the actual shelf life was less than 18 days on every used vehicle that sits out there, which industry standards, if you can turn them every 45 days, you are top. I mean, you're ranked, you're conference champs. You know what I mean? So that 18 that's how we were able to do it when you talk about how'd you hit a goal when the industry's we don't like to admit this, but going down a little bit, supplies down, you turn it faster.
Yeah, so it was definitely one for the books. So outstanding job to our entire team. And thank you to all of our customers for your support, for trusting us, and stepping up and get crazy good deals. Like at the end, you get to win, right? Because the customer got the absolute best deal. Before we roll into completely unpack what we got going, why Elvis is here, we got to recap. Last week, we talked episode 77, and it was leadership under pressure. Like that's normal, right? Leadership under pressure, but making decisions without perfect information. So if you don't have all the data to make decisions like, hey, here's what's going on, there's a fire, well, how do we handle it? It's like, okay, let me collect the data, let me break that down. Sometimes you don't always have the data to make the split-second decision, and so we fully broke that down in episode 77. So if you haven't watched that yet, go check that out across all sources for podcasts, Crossroad Conversations, episode 77, Leadership Without Perfect Information.
Absolutely. Hey, quick plug, what's in the garage. I love this car because it combines old retro styling, but has new technology. That's the Dodge Charger, a 2-door.
So I like to call that one the Challenger.
I know.
'cause-
It's homage back because the Charger, people don't realize, I think Charger's 4-door. Well, originally Charger was a 2-door.
Back in the 60s.
That was a 2-door. That was but I love that it's a new high output twin turbo motor. And a lot of enthusiasts are like, it doesn't have the power. Man, it's over 500 horsepower, isn't it?
This thing is an inline-6 twin turbo. So for all the car guys out there, you take an inline motor and it gives you low-end instant
Direct
torque. And then we got 2 turbos that are spooling up. This thing puts out 550 horsepower, 431 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
It does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. And I love this next feature. It's all-wheel drive standard. And some people out there are like, yeah, that's great, but I like to smoke my rear tires. Guess what? It's got a mode, rear-wheel drive only.
You can always count on Mopar. If there's a gadget in the aftermarket, they're going to do it. Like, I'm going to need to be able to do a burnout. And they're like, yep, we can do that.
One of the things we hear about, of course, we sell Mustangs and we sell pre-owned Corvettes and we sell all the fun stuff. But one of the things we always hear about, I'm going to call it the Charger. Shelby was referring to it as a Challenger because it was before they flipped back over, is you hear people talking about how well they perform, yet of the muscle cars, they're the most comfortable on the road. So like if you want to drive it, down to Pensacola or down to Dallas or, up to Chicago, but then have some fun, it drives and it rides great. For it to be as big of a car as it is, and as heavy of a car as it is, and to run 3.90 to 60 and do it in all-wheel drive or take out all-wheel drive and have fun in a drift mode in it, it's fantastic.
Yep. So check that out. It's over in front of our CDJR store and is a really neat new technology car.
Absolutely. You bet. So we already tipped into it, but we have special guest with us here, Elvis. Elvis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Hey, before I leave, I got to say Elvis has left the building. I get that all the time. I get
Sounds over here to say again. I might as well use it.
Yeah. Elvis is in the building.
Elvis is in the building.
Elvis is in the building today, and Elvis is with the University of Arkansas, which is obviously right here in our hometown, and we've had a long-lasting relationship with them for a long time. Elvis is the Associate Athletics Director of Community Outreach and Fan Engagement. I like that. That's cool. And you're also the Assistant Sports Administrator on the gymnastics team, right?
Yes.
Okay. You got to play full.
Lots of full play, but a lot of fun.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to get this right or not, so you can correct me. But it seems like fan engagement can have its really big highs. And then other times they think that maybe you're the person to reach out to if it's not going the way the fans want.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It depends on if we win or if we lose. Depends on email. Emails might be a little bit, there would be more in my inbox than there would be if we had a great win. So, but also, the thing about Razorback Nation is it's so special and everybody is so passionate about Razorback athletics. That's what makes this community special. That's what makes the state special. And we hear that a lot about, the state pride for the Razorbacks, but it is true. And if I didn't get an email about someone being upset, then I knew that there's not that community passion and love for our teams.
That's a great way to look at it. I'm thinking I'm going to relate it over in our business. When I'm driving to work or around during the day and I hit a bunch of traffic and it's stop and go, before I get really frustrated, I have to remind myself that means that more people are driving and more people need to buy cars or service cars.
Yep.
So I guess it's the same right there, different industry,
Yep.
but it's the same. But what a great position on making sure that we have fans engaged, because we know that the team plays better, any of the sports, when the fans are engaged, when they're rowdy and they're on their feet and all the hype's going. Our players, they just play better. They really do.
Yeah, and it's just, it's the whole game day experience and our marketing team that we have, as well as with our group, our spirit squads, our band. Everyone is really working to try to bring the best game day experience as possible. So we have our weekly meetings leading up to each game. And, as a part of that, as our assistant athletic director for marketing really goes through a run of show and everything's lined out to the T. And those fan promotions that we do, we want them to be exciting. We want them to be engaging. And we want people to take home memorable moments that they would otherwise not experience if they couldn't be in the stadium.
Sure. And it's funny you say that again, because I'm thinking through like the games I've taken my kids to, and I couldn't tell you all the plays that went on, and I couldn't even tell you the actual score at the end of the game. I can tell you if we won or if we didn't, but I can vividly tell you when we were sitting in the stadium and the drone show came over the top, and my kids, they talked about that forever. And the Razorback was running with the drones, and so those engagement of it's become an experience. Yeah, we're rooting on the Razorbacks, but it's an experience that you can take your family to, and that's really cool.
And just trying to be cutting edge, and what are the next things that we could do to set ourselves apart from other schools? I know this year, if you had gone to a basketball game, we added rail lights that were on each of the rails, and that was something that we had seen through the NBA, and some other schools were doing it. We brought that in, and it was really cool to be able to utilize those lights during hot timeouts. And the student athletes also really take notice of that, and it helps excite them as well too.
I was going to point that out. I went to a basketball game this year. My boys are getting to the point of like they're excited. They're playing basketball and they're like, "Hey, can we go to a basketball game?" It's like, "Yeah, I think we got tickets. Let's see if I can go." Right? I hadn't been in 20 years. It just hadn't been on my radar. But it was so engaging the entire game. Like we won, right? The team was great this year, so that was a bonus, right? It's no fun going to a not winning game, but. The student section was amazing. They had this humongous banner that they handed up, and it went over the whole student section. And so the engagement there was outstanding. The activities during the timeouts, the long putt all the way across.
Yep.
There was something going, and it was a late game, and I was like, "That's my bedtime." But then I didn't really feel like it because there was so much going on.
That's the part. Yeah, it's the part is you took home those memorable moments.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that our marketing team does, so, we have somebody who oversees men's basketball marketing, and he's consistently trying to find new ways to engage the crowd, but bringing in those, all the way from the video segments, what might be given out in the stands or parachutes dropping.
My kids love that. They were looking at everyone up on the skywalk, and they're dropping the parachutes, and they were so jacked up in the intro when the players came out. Now, you can see this, but I don't know if you got to see our meeting room. But when I noticed when they brought the players on, they wheeled out these carts that had big flame cannons, and it had these CO2 things. And I was taking videos of it, sending to these two, like, we got to get some of these, all right? The hype was solid, and I was like, this is so good. I saw the rail lights, you could see it on the screen, and you could see it going on. So all of those things were so good of why fans enjoy it, right? And I think it's really important because we don't have national sports around here, right? We don't have the pro sports. So Hog fans are even if we don't have the best of seasons, I think somehow they still rally and they're still fired up. And, you get some new players or get a new coach, or maybe it's just, hey, it's another season for a reset. And I think we'll see that with the spring kicking off with football, of just people being re-jacked up.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head is, depending upon the seasons, our fans are always going to be there for us. They may be upset or they may really decide it. They be there. And it's, it's part of the fandom. So that's something that goes along with being a true fan.
Yeah. We see that as much as well that we bring in, some local radio stations that cover the Razorbacks, and like, last month. They were here every single week, but they're here at least once a month doing their show live on our showrooms. Because, so, ESPN radio's here, and those guys, we're live talking about as much as we can sports. We got to stay in our lane. But we know that their fans drive vehicles, and it just always adds to the atmosphere in that conjunction with the Razorbacks and us doing business as well. It's a big deal. It's such a cool position.
It's a lot of fun. It's what I mentioned to you is, something's new every day. We're working on a really cool tour with Coach Silverfield happening this summer, along with the spring game. We just wrapped up the Golden Clash international soccer event that took place there. Another thing that the department's doing is hosting the Pitbull concert in July. So a lot of fun things and a lot of great extra events that are taking place to continue to help revenue, and we all know what revenue means.
So, yeah, and haven't they opened up to have more concerts at the stadium?
Yeah, continuing to build on that. Just partnered with a group called the Oakview Group, who is going to be working with some different. I think they're different groups that are concert touring promoters that go out and help bring in those events to stadiums.
Yeah, I mean, because the last one I went to, obviously, and shut it down was Garth Brooks.
It was amazing.
I mean, that was awesome. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. It'd be great to get more of those in there.
It's just how that's evolved, because I can remember growing up, we all grew up in this area. I think I went to the first concert that the U of A let ever happen in any of their areas. And it was in the old basketball stadium.
Barnhill?
Yeah, Barnhill.
Yeah.
It was, so like before then, no concerts ever happened.
Yeah.
So to see that evolve and to go, no, this is your local university, and we are engaging you during the season and during the non-season, and we're going to talk about that coming up. But that's just fun, and that keeps the excitement. No, I'm going to Bud Walton, or I'm going, to the Reynolds Stadium to watch the concert, just to stay plugged in and part of that Razorback in you. So,
and I think about that too. Every year we've hosted since I've been here for 13 seasons, and I know that they've done it before I got here. But for women's basketball, every year they host elementary day for kids in Northwest Arkansas to attend the game. And I think about this, and every year it comes to the part of, those kids that get to come to this game, it may be the only time they ever get to go into that arena.
Yeah.
Even though it's in their backyard. And I think about that, and then also just having conversations with people out in the community that will say, hey, my daughter or son went to a women's basketball game when they're fourth grade, third grade, and they've graduated already, So it's like every one of those kids have had a chance to come in that have gone through Fayetteville Elementary School.
Well, our kids go to Farmington, and they all got to go, and they were so jacked up. And so when I took them the game, I was like, hey, boys. And they were like, well, we've been here. And I was like, well, I haven't in 20 years, right? But they were so jacked up. And so I think that's where the fanfare starts. Right? They're like, hey, I've been there. And so then even if it's a while before they get to go, they see them on TV and like, no, I've been there. Like, that's our team, right?
And maybe that could be translated into, for us, we look at it as how are you trying to build new fans at that young age?
Sure.
And maybe as a takeaway is like when somebody comes in and buys their kid a car.
Sure.
I mean, that step is them moving on.
Yes.
They'll be purchasing your own vehicle soon in the future. So you could look at it that way as well.
I would say it's kind of a little funny you bring that up, because we talk about that, and where we would usually not sell higher mileage vehicles because they could have issues going on, and it's 200,000 miles and 150,000 miles. It hits a price point for somebody to buy their kid a first car, because we want to start that relationship early. So then when it comes, okay, now let me buy a nicer used vehicle. Let me buy a new vehicle. It's the same thing. You guys are getting them in the stadium, getting them part of being a Razorback. And then to some of them too, they'll never get that opportunity, and you're giving them that opportunity. That's amazing.
Yep. That's the part of it that really is special.
It is.
And we do have charitable organizations that we donate tickets to throughout the course of the year so we can get kids in the stadium that may not get that chance again. And I mean, they don't care whose autograph. They're asking for autographs from anybody. They take it home, and that's something they're going to always remember. And then to get the emails the following day from the advisors that took them out, I'm like, these pictures of just thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do this. Like, that's the cool part.
Oh, yeah. That's the neat emails to open. Yeah.
That's the neat emails to open. Yeah.
Because you affected somebody's life.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing we saw with Coach Cal, and I don't know that he was the brains behind it, but he was the driver, is that he saw that, hey, he wanted to bring the hype, and he didn't want one empty seat.
Yeah.
And so saw pushing this year, it could have been in previous years, that said, hey, if you have a ticket and you're not showing up, you need to transfer it over to this, and so we can give it to students and people that don't have tickets, and that helped fill it up.
Yep.
And that was a good move there.
So going back to that, that's where those tickets went. They went to, charitable children's organizations. They went to some of the nonprofits, where they went to Fayetteville Police Department. So different groups that may not ordinarily get the chance to get to come to a game, either to work or because they, may not be able to afford it.
Well, that's the funny thing. Taylor, how long... Taylor's been working. We've been season ticket holders for a long time. How long?
39 years.
39 years. And I told you that I hadn't been to a basketball game in forever. And so we have tickets for almost every single Razorback event. And the fun thing that we get to do, because we're just workers, right? And so like we're always just here. So Razorback games we don't go to, but we get to give them out to all of our employees.
Yeah.
And the fun thing is when they come back, you're like, I've never been able to go to a football game. I've never been able to go to a baseball game. So with 270 employees, we constantly send that email out, said, hey, put your name in the hat for the wish list. And we try to spread that love of people that haven't been able to go. And so we get to send, so all the tickets we've been buying for 39 years, our take rate of us is less than 1%. We're sending all of our employees for that same idea, those people that don't have tickets or don't have the opportunity to go, and it's fun to hear those stories.
That's awesome.
It really isn't in some of them that have been before, because we've been ticket holders for a while and big supporters. We've got pretty good seats. So then they'll come back like, did you know those were on the 40-yard line? Our seats, we don't have to get into all this, but our seats, moved with the basketball. But it used to be right next to where Nolan Richardson sat.
Yeah.
So then people would go and they're like, did you guys know that no one's in this?
It's like, no. Big baseball. It's right next to the dugout, like on top of the dugout. And they're like, man, your tickets are so good. It's like, yeah, and then you've been going.
But it's still, every single time, no different than you guys are doing transferring. It's like, we want people in those seats.
Yeah.
We want them to experience it, for their family. So then on those days, they go home and they've been able to take their family. So I know we're getting a little off subject there, but I think it's just deeper than just like, what's the score of the game?
Mm-hmm.
It's the community involvement. It's all that around and some pride to be a part of. So we jumped a little bit ahead there.
Yeah.
But let's back up, because he said 13 years ago, before you got your path here to the Razorbacks, were you doing the same type of work in Amarillo?
Yeah, so I graduated from Texas Tech, had the opportunity to be a member of the cheer team there.
Okay.
And so as a part of the cheer team, we had to do all these crazy promotions that the marketing department gave to us. And so I was a little vocal a couple of times on, what they were asking us to do. And the lady that was in charge of the marketing at that time said, hey, you seem to think you know what you're talking about. So why don't you come in and intern in our office for us? We can put you to work. And yeah, putting me to work was the first job that I had was sitting by a fax machine, and all the faxes that were coming through was approvals for licensing. So at that time, that's how things came in. So if you wanted the double T or you wanted something on your shirt or mugs, it was through a fax machine. So I sat there and did that. She did that for me, and then she said, "You're also going to go out and deliver bottles of champagnes to our corporate partners." And I ended up delivering probably a car full of just champagne bottles, going out and delivering stuff. And I said, "This isn't as much fun as I thought it was going to be." So anyway, I created a really good relationship with her and rapport, and she helped propel me into what I call the love of marketing and the love of what I consider fan engagement. And so I've stayed with that. I went on to graduated from Texas Tech.
Okay.
I worked at Purdue for 3 years. At Purdue, I had the opportunity to meet and work with the women's basketball coach, Christy Curry, there with her husband.
Okay.
Christy then, about a couple months after I got there, Christy was given the job at Texas Tech and named the head women's basketball coach. So I had the chance to go back and work for her. So she called me. She said, "Hey, I would love for you to come back out to West Texas. I don't know this area well. I've talked to some folks. They said they knew who you were. It would be great to have you on staff. So I worked with Christy. She was then went to Alabama, so I got to see her then. And then she was just announced this past week as a new head coach at University of South Florida. So those connections really helped me there. And then I stayed at Texas Tech for 7 years, was director of marketing for two or three of those years, and then had the chance to come to Arkansas in 2014 and have been here since then in this role.
Wow. That's quite the exposure right there.
It's quite the exposure. A lot of fun things. The marketing has really changed the way it used to be. Just traditional marketing.
Yeah.
It's now, it's really digital marketing, social media, all those fun things, email, all those things that go along with it. And then this part of my job is really just interacting with the community, finding ways to promote the Razorback brand, working with our different groups in the community to try to get them to support Razorback athletics.
And I would say it definitely same thing in our business. Like, it's changed, but some parts haven't. So the way we communicate, the way we get the hype out there and our specials, it's obviously a whole lot digital like you are, but they still then show up in person, to do the transaction. They don't put it in their Amazon cart and check it out. We deliver it. Same thing with you is like all that hype happens online and that engagement, but it's really just all building for your in-person events.
Yep.
Or in the stadium.
Yep. That's part of it. I think the big piece now is like the creative design, like what's it going to look like? What's going to be appealing for the fans to see? And then trying to get our coaches involved with the marketing of it and having the opportunity to have them help promote. And then social media, of course, is the biggest thing. And I'm still at the point where I appreciate social media, but I also don't know all the ins and outs of it as well as some of our other staff members. Does that happen with y'all here?
That's the difference between me and both my brothers. Yeah, I understand the pieces of it, but they're much better at it.
Okay. So yep. But I wanted to go back to, we talked a little bit about Lewis, and I had the opportunity to not only represent athletics at different chamber events in the Northwest Arkansas Tourism Association, in the Experience Fayetteville board, but also with the Fayetteville Chamber. And I know, Lewis Automotive does a lot of community outreach events. I see a lot of things on social media. I also pass by, see the trucks that are out here. Y'all have done a great job of that with supporting the community and showcasing that support, especially I know with your leadership on the chamber. And so for that, and then just having Natalie as a contact, she was excited, and she said, "Hey, if there's ever anything you think we could get involved with, let me know." And so this immediately, I thought, car and truck show. This is something I put together. I had no idea what a car and truck show was, but somebody said, "Hey, you should do this outside the stadium," and we started it. Done really well without me knowing all the ins and outs of it. But we really wanted to get somebody, a group in that could really help us take it to the next level and showcase support. So,
well, we're really excited about that, and we're going to dive straight into what all is going on with the Hogtown Classic Car Show. But Taylor, before that, I think it's time for a
little fun fact there. How many car shows take place in the U.S. each year? You got to think about this. There's way more than you would think. Your options are 10,000, 20,000, 5,000, or 7,000.
that was what you thought. I would say 10.
10,000. You're right on it. You're right on that.
You won't.
I'm not sure what the price is. Yep, that's you. But our marketing department will find you something.
Take us to a baseball game, but we're here. Let's go. Let's go. 10,000.
Like 10,000, that's a lot. And now I'm speculating here, but I would say the reason there are 10,000 is because when I see people at a car show, I can see a grandfather and a grandson both get excited going through and talking about cars, and whether it's the grandfather talking about the memories and this and that, or the grandson that is wishing and just dreaming on what his first car will look like. It's a great time where you can take multiple generations together and have fun. and a lot of times it's supporting a great cause, and we'll get into that. But I think that is the power of a car show is you can get multiple generations together to have something to do, to go ooh and ah, or to just have conversation about, or to see things that they may not have seen before, which is really neat. So we're really here today to talk about the Hogtown Classic Car Show. And let's tee it up here.
Yeah.
Is you guys do a whole lot, especially during football games, which is fall, during those games. But hog fans are hog fans 365 days a year.
Mhm.
So it's like, how do we keep that going on? And, there's always a spring game. So then walk us through, because the car show happens before the spring games, is that right?
Yep. So it's going to happen on Saturday, April the 25th.
Okay.
In our event time. So we've got a couple of things leading up to it. So we're going to start that morning with sunrise yoga on the outside of the stadium. So we'll do that for an hour, 9 to 10.
Okay.
And then at 10 a.m., we will begin Hogtown, which is going to be right outside the stadium. And that will include our classic car and truck show.
Okay.
We'll have a petting zoo for kids out there. A lot of fun stuff for that. We've got a mechanical bull inflatable. I'm sure y'all have had those before here. I don't know who the winner is. This is Charco.
Shelby's played.
Did you take my contacts of everything that did there and also challenge it?
Not just kidding. We've got inflatables, food trucks, and a beer garden. I know y'all will really enjoy that beer garden.
We tried it, but they frown upon driving cars and beer. Yeah. So let's try. It wasn't the X that far, but you guys can have it.
And then we're really excited to announce that Justin Moore is going to be performing in concert outside the stadium. Outside the stadium, he is doing that. And all these dollars, this is presented by the Razorback Foundation, empowered by the Link U, which is, these funds are really to help support our student athletes and NIL as well. So the big thing about this event, it's free. It's a free community event, so there's no charge. And, in the past, I don't know how good this is, but we've had at least 85 cars and trucks in the event. And we knew that having y'all as a partner in this would be an opportunity for us to continue to grow that and see some of your avid customers come out, part of that. But all told, this is just a free community-wide family event. Yeah, it's free.
So what time so you got yoga, get everybody stretched out.
Stretch out.
And then what time we get into the car show?
Car show, 10 a.m., and it goes till, it's going to go till 1:30.
Okay.
And then we'll make the awards. The award show will happen at that time on the stage.
Okay.
So we're going for best interior.
Okay.
Now, again, these were what I was told at that point in time when I took it over. Best Razorback spirit. You should see some of these vehicles, man. They will go all out with their Razorback.
Tailgating like the short buses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then we have the best in show.
Okay.
Said
best in show.
We are excited. Who's going to be the judge from your team? Who's the judge?
I don't know.
We might have fun with it. Who knows? The ones we've had here, we've had to appoint other people, but it might be an opportunity like a year to
charge. Yeah. Then we could do some.
I've heard that y'all have some fun suits. I think I saw you in a fun suit somewhere, maybe at a chamber event. So you had a
lot of suits.
Okay, so you got a lot of suits. We may need a Razorback suit for this.
Okay. Well, we might need to add that to the collection. Okay. So let's talk about if I've got a car.
Yep.
Does it matter? Do you have makes, models, year? Are you trying to only have classics, or you got moderns too? What are you looking for?
We got majority of them will be classics, and then we have the Northwest Arkansas Corvette Club.
Okay.
They have reached out, and I think they're at like 20 cars right now. So we're going to map out an area for the Corvettes. I'm excited to see.
It's really important. I'm not trying to advise you here, but I'll just.
I need help me. Yes, please.
It's really important. The group. So you got two different types of people that put cars in a car show. One that just want to be a part of it, and that's great. That's your general area. But then you have groups. They love to travel together. It's a whole outing. So it's like going to a restaurant and getting a big table everybody can sit at. So you gotta have the areas for the Corvettes and the Mopars and the Mustangs, or the overlanding people and like all that.
Yeah, some of them need a little help with that.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who's going to be able to help me with that. And I'm looking at Craig on here, but
And Natalie can.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We're still working through that, but it's gotten better every year. And the ones that come and participate, they have a blast. We give 2 free tickets out to the first home game just for participating, our first home football game.
Okay.
And so that's been pretty enticing. And because some of those folks, hey, we love car and truck shows, but we've never been to a football game.
Sure.
So that's given them the opportunity to attend as well. So yeah, they'll get 2 free tickets just for participating.
If it doubles in size this year, can you handle that capacity?
We can.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can definitely handle that capacity.
And I mean, just think about, we think we got some cool stuff, but you got a Justin Moore concert going on
Out there in the
Bring
parking
the
lot.
trucks out.
Man, you're going to need a truck section. Yeah. So what time's the concert?
Concert is going to happen, I believe, at 12:45 to 1:45.
Okay, 12:45 to 1:45.
Yeah, and then there'll be someone that goes on stage prior to him that will open for him. We'll also have a pep rally featuring the Spirit Squad's a band, and then Coach Silverfield will be out there as well to speak to the fans and greet them and welcome them to the stadium. Again, everything's free. Folks can visit Razorback Foundation website to claim their free tickets on there, or just visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com, and we have information there too.
I was going to ask you that. Even though it's free, do they need to register before they go? Can they register the day of?
So yeah, we would really like for them to pre-register. And I believe your team is helping. They'll be putting out a social media post that's going to help, or that's going to give information on how to register as well. But it's pretty simple form that you'll just fill out, and then we'll contact you based on that. And then that's the back end for us to know where you'll be staged. And when you check in, it's a pretty easy process.
And if you'll check out the show notes too in the comments below, we'll put a link there for registration and a link for all the information as well to make sure that. So we're talking about that. That's not this Saturday. It's the next Saturday coming up, right on the 25th.
Yep, on the 25th. And then that is going to be again from 10 to 2. And then the spring kickoff will start at 2 o'clock. Should last probably about an hour and a half, and then there will be an autograph session with the team following that on inside the stadium somewhere.
And all that's happening the same day.
All that's happening the same day.
So if I want a full enchilada, get up, come do some yoga.
9 a.m.
Okay,
Get up,
bring the car out, polish it, talk to some people, go into the game, get an autograph.
So I've got a random question for you, because sometimes parking becomes an issue.
Yep.
You get 60, 70,000 people. Now, the spring game, we won't have quite that many. But if you come to the car show, can you keep your parking spot through the entire game?
You do. Yep.
Okay, now you're interested in how you get the VIP part. This is right on the north end zone.
Each of you have your cars that you'll be putting in. I don't know which one from the really cool tower y'all got. The tower is amazing. Love the tower.
We got a couple of red ones in there.
We had to bring that one or two of the red ones out. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, we need other red colors, don't we?
Yeah, don't bring other SEC color scores.
Don't bring orange or blue.
Yeah, or yeah.
But I think that would be totally cool. That tower is awesome. Kudos to y'all on getting that up. It's definitely a sight on the side, which is great. Yeah, good sight.
That was you talk about your rail lights. That was our rail lights plus, right? It was just a way to bring a little extra flair.
Yeah, it's and if I can, the very first time I came to the campus here, this is like its own little city. It's pretty cool. Like I was like, man, this is like people are walking around with leis and Hawaiian things, and somebody's wearing an inner tube, and I felt like I was in Cancun for a little bit. But yeah, this is an amazing location. Your customer service, everybody that I ran into was just super helpful, customer friendly, and so kudos to you and your team for all the great things that y'all are doing in our community.
Well, thank you for that. And I know you get that it's about the atmosphere that somebody walks into.
Mm-hmm.
When people walking around like that, it's like, okay, there's something happening here. It kind of looks like a fun place to do business, and not just a stigma of it's quiet. Like, what do I do? Like, they want to have fun in the experience.
You totally get that as, being in charge of entertainment and, kind of all those things. Finishing up March when we had our crazy numbers, there was a guy that was one away from making it to our employee auction. Right, we set these goals and these standards for each one of our team, and we had this big auction where they earn auction dollars and they get to buy. We spend, $60,000+ to buy all this stuff, everything you can imagine, the latest and greatest. He was one away from being able to get to the auction. It was in the last day, and So how do you portray that to a customer? Because there's not really any reason why a customer would buy or not buy because the guy's missing a goal. Like, that's his problem, not their problem. But we had bought, you said suits. We bought a crazy amount of suits and just ridiculous outfits. We had George Day, but we had bought these disco ball helmets.
Okay.
Think of like,
I hadn't seen those before.
yeah, they're pretty outstanding. We saw them in Vegas, of all places, right? So I got on Amazon and ordered a good bundle I said, hey guys, I got you some light up shoes and some disco helmets. Order your suits at leisure. But so we said, all right,
these here.
yeah, it was just like that, right? Brian,
You're going to need to integrate that in, aren't you?
you definitely need to have some people as part of your team. Like, that's how you could know that their part just had those helmets on, right? Like, you've never felt. Just give us a shout out when you integrate that. There they are, right there. And so we said, dude, put the helmet on. And we also bought cowboy hats that were the same disco ball. Okay, right? I said, take this out to your customer and say, hey, as part of our ultimate challenge, we want to make sure that this is not an average experience by any means. That's why I have this helmet on, and that's why I'd like to ask you to put this hat on. So when we take your photo on the red carpet, that's part of our process. Every customer that buys a car, we roll out the red carpet, take their photo. So they have a great photo of when they bought their car. Maybe their first car, their 20th car, or whatever, maybe their retirement car or celebration car. So he put this helmet on, and I could see from across the showroom, he was grinning ear from ear, so it was infectious of the fun. And then she put the cowboy hat on. Like, there was no way that they were saying no. We had to make the deal make sense for everybody. And the excitement of him, just victory. Now I'm in the auction, victory of the customer. Like, now I got the deal I wanted. She had the cowboy hat on. We had another guy that said, hey, I can't leave here without, give me one of those hats or give me one of those helmets, and drug Matt and I out there and said, hey, you got to get me on the red carpet with this. And he said, I'm deal number 600. I know I am. Right. And that's just the hype. People kept asking me why I was wearing something ridiculous. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what to wear today. Most ridiculous thing ever. And I called myself the CFO of this. I'm self-appointed, but it was a chief fun officer. And so it was my job every single day to make sure that there was just a ridiculous amount of excitement and fun going on every single day, right? And so I think you can integrate that into, Hogtown Classic for the spring game and just bring the excitement of just ridiculous things.
All right, but now this is our Mythbuster section, okay? So you could jump in here if you want to. All right, so here, is this a myth or not? If your product is good enough, you do not need marketing.
In today's world, I would say wrong.
Yeah.
Because people still need to know about it. Because I think more often than not, this is my opinion, it's worth what it's worth, is that even if you have an outstanding product but people don't know about it, or you have a average product but everyone's pushing it social and they see why is this line longer, right? So let's say you got 6 food trucks and this one's got a really long line. Are people going to go get in the one with no line or long line? They're going to get in the long line. So even if the food truck has really good tacos, but no one's in their line, they haven't marketed well enough, they don't have graphics on the side of the truck, they don't have a menu, they don't have music.
They don't know.
People don't know. So that's my opinion.
I'm going to give you an opinion here too, is that I feel like if you had an amazing product that nobody else had, would it organically grow by itself? Yes. But if you marketed it well, how much faster could it grow?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't gain enough market share by it fast enough, there could be somebody that tries to take that product and rip it off. They does a better job marketing, and then could steal from what you actually have. So I think you have to have a good product, but the magic happens when you have a good product and great marketing. What are your thoughts?
One of the greatest things that I look at is like the candy lines, and I think about the Hershey's bar and how that how they made the Hershey's bar. And back then, man, it was like you're making the original packaging, you're drawing it, and you're just sharing it with people. And I think about that, and they probably didn't have the dollars to market back in the day, but it just continued to be a word of mouth, and it just spread. So I would tend to agree with you as well. I think you gotta, it's got to be something that definitely has got to be great, or people aren't going to buy it.
Or there has to be an experience, and I got to talk just a little bit of sports here, okay? You can just have an average, or some people to debate below average, whoever's listening to this, okay? Sports team, but really good marketing, and still fill the stadium. And the Cowboys have done that for years. If you think about that, because Jerry Jones always has events going on there. He always has people following that. You probably have way more insight on that than I tried to fumble through. But, I think we live in a world that you got to do well. And there's some products out there that people talk about. They don't spend any money on marketing, yet they have ambassadors that talk about it all the time. So it's like, you might not have paid marketing, but you still have marketing.
Mm-hmm. Some level of telling the people about the product or the experience.
Just to let you know, usually our Mythbuster doesn't get that deep, but today.
No, that one did. So I think you definitely have to work through and share the value of whatever your product is or you bring to the table for it to be amplified to the level that it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So diving into, we've answered quite a few of these, but Elvis, what are your thoughts on, and I'm going to skip to, a lot of people think engagement is just getting people to show up.
Mm-hmm.
What are most organizations getting wrong when it comes to actually building a real fan loyalty base out there?
I think it's just consistent communication with them, letting them know, great things that are going on within your program, keeping them informed of, offers, discounts that you might have, but finding ways to engage with them, whether that's phone calls like y'all do, I'm sure, phone calls, thanking them for their support, door-to-door visits. What times we try to go and, we may pluck 5 to 10 season ticket holders out and actually go to their homes with the coaches or the student athletes, knock on their door and say, thank you for being a season ticket holder. We just want to stop by and surprise them.
That's all.
So think about, kind of the surprise and delights. We did that one year by taking our mascots door to door and just making some cool thank you for being a Razorback fan interactions. And I think about, I continue to think about like building a new fan base with the young generation, because as the older ones continue, you're phasing out, people get old, retire, not able to come, as like they used to. You've got to continue to build your new fans. And that's the most important part, is that communication with them and getting them in at a young age. So our junior Razorback program is something that we do, and we send out a packet of membership information. We send them a lanyard, a card, some different things that they get in the mail. They get to open it up, and they might have a flag in there they can hang in their room. But if they can see that brand hit their mailbox and they get to open it and they're seeing it in their room, the idea is we're trying to ingrain into their minds the loyalty to the Razorback. So I think just constant communication and finding ways to make personal connections with them.
One of the things you hit on there is that, your job of fan engagement starts from maybe social and starts before they even get to the game, but then must continue during the game. Just because you got everybody there, you guys aren't done. The show's just starting,
I think one of the things too is I use gymnastics as an example. Coach Jordan Weber, she does an incredible job on making sure that we're finding ways to say thank you to our season ticket holders, thank you to our fans. So some of the things that we do, might be a slide on the video board that says thank you to our loyal season ticket holders. Or we may do a segment where, hey, we want to recognize 4 loyal season ticket holders. We want them to stand. We'll have the mascots with them, give them an opportunity to be recognized. And then the other thing that Coach Jordan does is she'll take the mic after the game and actually talk to our fans and give them an actual welcome. She will also go from desk to desk of people that are working at the event and say, thank you. I just want to let you know how much you meant to our meet tonight. And I find that personal connection to be so incredibly I find it to be incredibly grateful for having somebody like that as a colleague, because she appreciates the work that I do marketing her program. And I say you take that into the workplace. I mean, you may have somebody going above and beyond and you just think that they do that, but they may want to be able to hear that recognition or that thank you that they have gone above and beyond, and you've recognized that.
That's so important. I love to hear that. And that's why you've continued to be successful, that you're not taking just because things have worked for so long this way, like a business, we're going to continue to do it this way because this is how we've always done it. You're taking that younger generation coming into and figuring out how you can do camps and how you can include them on Kids Day or anything else. I remember whenever I was younger, I had done an and this was 20 years ago or longer, 25 years ago, that we did a summer football camp there, and you actually got to stay on campus and go and practice through the indoor facility and be a part of all that. So as I see any of those things come up, it's so important for that younger generation, I think, to see what you have going on.
That's good. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. That engagement, just you create those memories, and that's what you remember. And then that's how you create that hog fan for life.
What are a couple of things you've done that surprised you with a good outcome? You didn't think necessarily they're going to work as good as what you thought they were going to.
Let me think. Something that might have surprised me. That one's a good one. Surprised me, but might have had a good outcome.
Or something that just kind of evolved bigger than what you thought it was going to. You'd started as something small.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I go back to Hogtown. When you first started Hogtown, we started out with we took one side of the street. Rather than the whole entire road, we had one side. It was 2 lanes. We had to utilize that so we could keep traffic open.
And where's Hogtown out so we can
So it's literally on between Stadium Drive and Razorback Road,
Okay.
and it's Maple Street,
Yep.
right in front of the stadium.
Okay.
On the north side.
Yep.
And so they had given us 2 lanes out of 4 lanes to set up our Hogtown. So we literally had barricades in the middle of the road trying to set up 10 by 10s on this side so traffic could still flow in this other side.
Yeah.
And after that, I go back in and say, okay, we've had people nearly get hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't safe. We've got to figure out how we can open this up. So we all went back to the table, met, and that point in time, we were able to figure out a way to open, to give that whole entire road to us to use. And then the bus traffic and the traffic getting into that lot, we would just take them up Razorback and Stadium. They'd have to go around and come in on the sides of the parking lot versus through the middle part of that road.
Sure.
So I would say that was one. I think, another thing is just being able to change your mindset once a new coach comes in, because the coaches have new ideas and they want new ways to promote their programs, to market. They each bring their own ideas in from their own, from their previous stops. And so you want to be able to adapt to what and change with what they're wanting to do and find a way to work with them on implementing the ideas that they have. Because even though I might have been here, for the 13 seasons,
Sure.
This is that person's first season and they don't know any different. So if they say, hey, we want to do this, this, and this, I'm not going to go back and push back on it. I may say, hey, we have tried that before. Here's what's come out of it. But we always want to give that person the opportunity to try.
Yeah. That's good.
What have you seen in coaches of some coaches come in and are just solely locked in on winning, and they say, hey, you figure out how to promote, versus a coach comes in and says, hey, I want to try to win, but I also want fans heavily engaged. Have you seen both of those?
You see both of those. And, I think both of them it's great to have. You got the coaches that want to be involved at the very front end, and they're going to help you build out their thoughts. They'll give you a list of what they feel. Hey, here's the most important things. Here are our games that we want to really highlight. Here's our marquee games. And they allow you the opportunity to go and with your team and work that out. And then you present the plan to them. And then you also have the coaches who want to have an opportunity to be involved in the process of planning. And so, one of the things that we've always done is try to find those 3 to 5 really good ideas that can help their program and showcase those to them and give them kind of that as kind of the lead into what they may want to do. And so that we help drive the conversation with them. But, they have seen different things in their other stops that we feel have worked well here. Sure. One of the things that Coach Calipari does is, he has his post-game talk with the fans, and they can bring basketballs and do some other things and get his autograph. And, that was something that he brought with him. So that's something that's worked really well as a part of that.
That's great. That's really big. Well, let's dive into here. I've got a couple of questions here. What's the most frequently asked question you think you get asked in your job role?
Most frequently asked question that I get asked in my job role.
Or that you have to answer?
that I have to answer. How do you think next football season's gonna All right. How do you think next football season's gonna go? Or, what do you think, as far as, uh, you know, basketball season? Where do you think we'll end up going? Do you think we're gonna get to the Final Four? Will we go to the national championship? I got a lot of that recently.
Right.
But I think the biggest one is, how's our football team looking? Or, what would you say the outlook of the football program is gonna be next year? I've gotten a lot of questions just in general about, you know, like, are there gonna be any new promotions that y'all are gonna be doing? What bands are gonna be in Hogtown? Some of that fun stuff.
I got you.
Okay.
Just keeping our toes there. And besides, because I think Hogtown is kind of your baby.
That's
You've
a baby, yeah.
You've really grown up. Any other fan events that kind of come to top of mind awareness that you think have really been successful?
Let's see. We started doing a fan event for women's basketball, and it's a season ticket holder meet and greet. It was a special event where we bring in their season ticket holders or anyone that's generally interested in women's basketball, and they have the opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with Coach Music and also get to meet the team as a part of that preseason event. And that's always good because they're a very close-knit season ticket holder family. So that's been really good. I also enjoy putting on the chamber after hours events. We've had the opportunities to host the professional night out event or the morning breakfast event. So we had those opportunities in the past that we've done. We're always able to be creative and finding ways. Budweiser Clydesdales, bringing them to campus was a lot of fun. I do remember having them. We actually had the Christmas tree that was heading to Washington to be put up in the White House made a stop at the stadium outside. It was huge, and they had it all decorated on the inside along the stops, and that was part of the fun. I got to set that up and coordinate that as a community event. Hopefully that answered a little bit. It's great. It's some of the fun things that I've got to be a part of.
And I've really started to notice that more and more, that there's been more community, especially over the last several years, of just outreach, more of, they probably were set in their ways, and you probably saw this a whole lot whenever you first came on with the university, that they were set in their certain ways of, we do things this way, and we're going to call the Hogs at this quarter, whatever it would be. So I think you've done a really good job just looking at it from outside of incorporating just fun community events. Like, hey, we may be the big university, but we're still your hometown team here. And like Shelby said, there's no national team here. So we're University of Arkansas is college, professional, everything else for Arkansas residents.
Yeah. And the other part about my job is being able to just be creative. And, one of the things that comes to mind is on creativity is, being able to say we have 5 mascots, which is the largest costume mascots in the country, and a live mascot, which is Tusk.
Oh, yeah.
And I do need to mention that is, we're retiring Tusk 6 and next month in May. And we have a new Razorback baby that we're introducing, Tusk number 7, who is probably that big whenever I saw him. He's probably about as big as this table. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to be a lot bigger real quick. We'll have him to introduce. So that's something new. But I think about, too, is, conversations with our mascots. Like, I had this idea, and I'm like, hey, I want the mascot team to I want to take them to a random neighborhood on Halloween night, and I want them to go door to door and knock and have their buckets, and they kind of dress up and do their, hey, it's so much fun. Get some cool footage of them, and just being able to be creative like that. Like, okay, let's try it. Let's see what we can do. So,
yes,
I enjoy those parts of the jobs. Or, here lately, I'll get 5 to 10 letters a week from kids in school that write, and they're like, Razorbacks are our favorite team. We'd love to have a poster. Can you send us something? We'll get those. And then something has happened over the last couple of months on social media now where we're getting wedding invitations. And people are they're sending their wedding invitations to us and basically asking if there's anything that we have that we could send to their significant other in celebration of the wedding. So I'll work with Hunter, and Hunter will put together a letter, and it was being congratulations on their marriage. And we will send a really cool letter from Hunter along with a challenge coin that Hunter has, and we'll mail that off to them as a commemorative gift for their wedding. So
That is so good because that is a trend, and it was a little bit of an older trend, but those trends like come up and down. But there was a thing, I think it was around COVID, where and it got legs. Someone did it jokingly. It was like, hey, I sent to Kohl's and to Target and to Olive Garden and all these people. I just happened to get their address. And a couple of them sent them to the right creative people. And they were like, instead of somebody just asking for money, like all the marketing requests you get, like, hey, we sponsor this, and just throwing it away, they're like, what if we actually sent something back to them? So then because they're social media, they're like, hey, I sent this letter out to 150 people. Only 10 responded, and look what they sent me. So you guys definitely stepped up to it. They, hey, Hunter, can you do something? And he's like, oh, yeah, let me write up this letter. Let's get a challenge coin. And so then by you guys doing that, it will continue to trend higher and higher. The people, like, how silly is that? But you guys get to step up.
yeah, I think, I want to say 2 weeks ago, I had 5 in the mail. And of course, I laid them out and, I had to plan, and I knew I was going to go in and talk to Hunter and give him, kind of, here's what we have this year for this stuff. And a couple of people came to my office. They're like, dude, we knew you knew people, but like, you've got 5 weddings to go to. And like the next couple, no, or none. These. So it depends. And then the other thing to tie back in, one of the great things about working in Razorback Athletics is the stories that fans share with us. So we receive a lot of, which usually go to me, is there are a lot of fans who are at the, maybe at the stage of passing away, avid fans that might have cancer. They're in their final days, or they know they're only going to have 6 to 8 months to live. We will do everything we can, either to work with their family to get them to a game before that happens, or we will work with our mascot family to send a really cool picture with a card that says, thinking of you, get well. And then we'll always work with Hunter will always write some type of letter to send to the fan, letting them know appreciation of their lifetime support of the Hogs. But the stories are incredible, and people have vivid memories of when they were young and able to come to games. But we've got some really people whose homes have been lost in fires, where maybe their only thing they had in there was memorabilia, and they just want something to keep with them. So
Sure.
those are some special moments that I get to be part of, and that's kind of the file. You got your bad file that you throw everything in, and then you've got, I had a person tell me one time before, like, keep a file that says bad and good, and every card that you get over the course of the year, put them in the good file, and all the crappy stuff you get, put them in there. And at the end of the year, open it up and see which one outdoes the other. And the goods are always like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So it gives you something to feel good about.
That really does. I just got to say, and I know both Taylor and Shelby have said this, but you guys have done an amazing job making it not just a game to go watch, but an actual experience.
Well, thank y'all. So it's a big team behind it. Lots of people behind the scenes making that happen, and a lot of hard work that goes into it, and planning already for next year as well.
Is there one area where, if I'm a fan or if I'm listening to this, and besides the car show, that I can see the events going on and I can know where to go or to take my family if you guys have events like this?
The best thing that we do is we put everything out on ArkansasRazorbacks.com. That's where everything lives. And then we put it all out on social media at Arkansas Razorbacks on social media. That's where we put all of our stuff. We do a really good job of creating our events as well.
Okay.
But that's where we put it out. We do have some of our radio partners that we promote with as well. But majority of it's going to be through email, through radio, and through website.
Well, we're excited about this event coming up, with the car show, the Classic. It's going to be on the 25th, which will be next Saturday coming up. And if you want to get there early and do the yoga, you can show up at 8 o'clock or bring your ride. And I'm going to tell you this, too. If you say to show up at 10, they're rolling in about 8:45, 9 o'clock in their position. So that car show will go between 10 and 1:30. Don't forget about the Justin Moore concert that's going to be in there, and then roll straight into the football game. And then they'll be able to get autographs after that, right?
That's right. Yep. You'll be able to get autographs. And, the one thing about it is it's free for everybody.
You bet. What's a great event. Elvis, thanks for coming to take a little time and talk with us this morning. As always, check out all of our inventory at lewissuperstore.com or go to crossroadconversationpodcast.com.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure and give it a like, share it with your friends and family, and visit our website to send us questions about what you would like to know about the automotive industry or family business in general. Who do you want to hear from? Send them our way, and we'll do our best to answer any questions that you have. Thank you again, and we'll see you in future shows.